There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes he's been fighting the wrong battle. You've been chasing, explaining, proving, pleading for her attention, her validation, her respect. You've been pouring your energy into a vessel that seems to have no bottom, watching your words fall into an abyss of indifference. You've felt the sting of being taken for granted, the humiliation of being dismissed, the exhaustion of always being the one who cares more. Tonight, that ends. The ancient Stoics understood something about human nature that modern men have forgotten in their desperate pursuit of connection. They knew that respect is not earned through persistence, but through presence. Not through chasing, but through choosing yourself. Not through proving your worth, but through embodying it so completely that it becomes undeniable. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And nowhere is this more true than in our relationships with women who have learned to expect our constant attention without reciprocating our energy. When you step back from the chaos of emotional reactivity, when you choose silence over explanation, when you redirect your focus from her validation to your own growth, something profound happens. The very thing you've been desperately trying to create through pursuit begins to emerge naturally through your absence. She begins to notice the space where your attention used to be. She starts to wonder about the man who no longer needs her. Approval to feel complete. This is not manipulation. This is natural law. This is the restoration of masculine polarity that creates genuine attraction and ultimately respect. The pain you feel right now, the frustration of being undervalued, the anger at being ignored, these emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers telling you that you've been investing your precious life force in the wrong direction. Every moment you spend trying to convince someone of your worth is a moment stolen from the work of becoming genuinely worthy. Every text you send seeking her attention is energy that could be building your empire, strengthening your character, deepening your purpose. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire, learning to want what you have control over and letting go of what you don't. Epictetus taught that we cannot control external events, only our responses to them. You cannot control whether she respects you, appreciates you, or even notices you. But you can control whether you respect yourself enough to stop begging for what should be freely given. You can control whether you maintain your dignity in the face of indifference. You can control whether you use this moment of pain as fuel for transformation or as an excuse for bitterness. The choice is yours, and it's the only choice that truly matters. When you withdraw your attention from someone who doesn't value it, you're not playing games, you're practicing self-respect. When you stop explaining yourself to someone who's already decided not to understand, you're not being cold, you're being wise. When you redirect your energy from proving your worth to building your worth, you're not giving up, you're growing up. This is the difference between the boy who chases and the man who chooses. The boy seeks validation from external sources. The man validates himself through his actions, his character, his unwavering commitment to his own growth. Consider the psychology of scarcity and abundance. When something is always available, it loses its value. When someone is always there, always responding, always accessible, they become part of the background of life rather than a conscious choice. Your constant availability has trained her to take you for granted. Your immediate responses have taught her that her time is more valuable than yours. Your endless patience has communicated that disrespect is acceptable. This is not love, this is enabling. True love requires boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to walk away when those boundaries are repeatedly crossed. The ancient Stoics understood that the source of all suffering is attachment to outcomes beyond our control. You've been attached to her response, her mood, her attention, her validation. You've made her behavior the measure of your worth, and in doing so, you've handed her the power to determine your emotional state. This is not strength, this is slavery. A free man does not let his peace depend on another person's choices. A strong man does not let his confidence fluctuate based on someone else's mood. A wise man knows that his value is inherent, it's not dependent on external recognition. Seneca wrote that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Your beginning as a man who values himself enough to walk away from disrespect starts with ending your pattern of chasing someone who doesn't appreciate your presence. This ending is not a loss, it's a liberation. It's the moment you stop trying to convince someone of your worth and start living in a way that makes your worth undeniable. It's the moment you stop seeking her approval and start earning your own respect. Distance is not cruelty when it's chosen from a place of self-respect rather than revenge. When you step back from someone who doesn't value your presence, you're not punishing them, you're protecting yourself. You're creating space for your own growth, for your own peace, for your own journey toward becoming the man you're meant to be. This distance becomes a mirror that reflects back to her exactly what she's been taking for granted. Suddenly, the background becomes foreground. The given becomes precious. Overlooked becomes missed. The masculine energy that attracts feminine. Energy is not neediness, it's sovereignty. It's not pursuit, it's purpose. It's not explanation, it's embodiment. When you stop trying to prove your worth through words and start demonstrating it through your actions, your choices, your unwavering commitment to your own growth, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because you're becoming genuinely attractive. There's a difference between being attractive and trying to attract. One comes from wholeness, the other from emptiness. One draws people in, the other pushes them away. The respect you seek cannot be demanded, negotiated, or earned through persistence. It can only be naturally generated through your own self-respect. You respect yourself enough to not tolerate disrespect, when you value yourself enough to not chase someone who's running away, when you love yourself enough to not beg for what should be freely given. You create an energetic shift that others can feel. Your silence becomes more powerful than your words ever were. Your absence becomes more noticeable than your presence ever was. Your peace becomes more attractive than your passion ever was. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the best revenge is not to be like our enemy. The best response to disrespect is not more disrespect, but such unshakable self-respect that disrespect becomes impossible to maintain in your presence. The best answer to someone who doesn't value you is not to try harder to prove your value, but to become so valuable that their recognition becomes irrelevant. This is not arrogance. This is maturity. This is not coldness. This is wisdom. This is not giving up. This is leveling up. The journey from needing her respect to deserving respect is the journey from boyhood to manhood. It's the path from external validation to internal validation. It's the transformation from seeking worth to being worthy. This journey cannot be rushed, but it can be chosen. Every day you choose to work on yourself rather than work on convincing her is a day you move closer to the man you're meant to become. Every day you choose your own peace over her approval is a day you reclaim your power. Every day you choose to build your kingdom rather than beg for a place in someone else's is a day you step into your sovereignty. The irony of human nature is that we often want most what we cannot have and value least what we always have. When you make yourself constantly available, always responsive, endlessly patient, you become predictable. And predictability, while comfortable, is not exciting. When you become mysterious, when your time becomes precious, when your attention becomes selective, you become interesting again. Not because you're playing games, but because you're playing life at a higher level. You're operating from abundance rather than scarcity, from choice rather than need, from strength rather than weakness. Silence, writing. I'm so. We're silent, we're so on our clonus. We're so on our clonus. It's not giving up, it's letting go of what was never yours to control in the first place. When you stop trying to force respect and start commanding it through your actions, your character, your unwavering commitment to your own growth, you create a gravitational pull that draws people toward you. Not because you're trying to attract them, but because you've become genuinely attractive. Not because you need them, but because you're complete without them. The woman who takes you for granted when you're always there will begin to notice your absence when you're not. The woman who dismisses your words when you're always talking will begin to wonder about your thoughts when you're silent. The woman who doesn't value your time when you're always available will begin to crave your attention when it becomes scarce. This is not manipulation. This is natural law. This is the restoration of polarity that creates genuine attraction and ultimately respect. Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by things, but by our judgments about things. Your pain is not caused by her disrespect. It's caused by your judgment that you need her respect to be complete. Your frustration is not caused by her indifference. It's caused by your belief that you need her attention to be valuable. Your anger is not caused by her behavior. It's caused by your attachment. Two outcomes beyond your control. When you shift your focus from what she's doing to what you're becoming, from what she's not giving to what you're not accepting, from what she's not seeing to what you're not showing, you reclaim your power. The path of the Stoic is not the path of the doormat. It's not about accepting disrespect or settling for less than you deserve. It's about understanding that your worth is not determined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. It's about knowing that your peace is not dependent on someone else's behavior, but on your own choices. It's about realizing that your happiness is not contingent on external validation, but on internal validation. This is the freedom that comes from taking responsibility for your own emotional state rather than making someone else responsible for it, when you choose to ignore her not from a place of anger or revenge, but from a place of self-respect and wisdom. You're not being cruel. You're being kind to yourself, protecting your energy, your peace, your dignity. You're saying no to what doesn't serve you so you can say yes to what does. You're creating space for someone who will appreciate your presence rather than waste your time trying to convince someone who doesn't. This is not selfishness. This is self-love. This is not coldness. This is wisdom. This is not giving up. This is growing up. The respect you seek will come not from your pursuit of it, but from your indifference to it. It will come not from your need for it, but from your completeness without it. It will come not from your desperation to earn it, but from your natural ability to command it. When you stop trying to get respect and start being respectable, when you stop trying to prove your worth and start being worthy, when you stop trying to convince someone of your value and start living valuably, you become magnetic. It's not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because you've become genuinely attractive. The ancient Stoics knew that the only true power is self-power. The only real control is self-control. The only genuine freedom is the freedom that comes from not needing anyone else's approval to feel complete. When you master yourself, you master your world. When you control your responses, you control your reality. When you choose your peace over someone else's chaos, you choose strength over weakness, wisdom over foolishness, dignity over desperation. Your transformation from someone who chases to someone who chooses is not just about relationships, it's about life. It's about understanding that you don't need to convince anyone of your worth because your worth is inherent. It's about knowing that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone because you've already proven yourself to yourself. It's about realizing that you don't need external validation because you've learned to validate yourself. This is the journey from boyhood to manhood, from dependence to independence, from weakness to strength. The woman who doesn't respect you when you're always there will begin to respect you when you're not. The woman who takes you for granted when you're always available will begin to value you when you become scarce. The woman who dismisses you when you're always talking will begin to listen when you become silent. This is not about playing games. This is about playing life at a higher level. This is about operating from abundance rather than scarcity, from choice rather than need, from strength rather than weakness. Remember that respect is not something you can demand, negotiate, or earn through persistence. It's something that naturally emerges when you embody the qualities that deserve respect. When you respect yourself enough to not tolerate disrespect, when you value yourself enough to not chase someone who's running away, when you love yourself enough to not beg for what should be freely given, you create an energetic shift that others can feel. Your silence becomes more powerful than your words. Your absence becomes more noticeable than your presence. Your peace becomes more attractive than your passion. The journey ends where it began, with a choice. You can choose to continue chasing someone who doesn't appreciate your presence, or you can choose to value yourself enough to walk away. You can choose to keep proving your worth to someone who's already decided not to see it. Or you can choose to live in a way that makes your worth undeniable. You can choose to keep seeking external validation, or you can choose to validate yourself through your actions, your character, your unwavering commitment to your own growth. The more you ignore her, the more she'll respect you, not because ignoring is a strategy, but because the man who has the strength to ignore disrespect is a man worthy of respect. It's the man who values himself enough to walk away from what doesn't serve him is a man who attracts what does. The man who chooses his own peace over someone else's chaos is a man who commands respect without demanding it. This is the way of the Stoic. This is the path of the wise. This is the journey from needing respect to deserving it, from seeking worth to being worthy, from chasing validation to validating yourself. Your silence will speak louder than your words ever could. Your absence will be felt more deeply than your presence ever was. Your peace will be more attractive than your passion ever was. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. This is not about her, it's about you. This is not about what she's not giving, it's about what you're not accepting. This is not about what she's not seeing. It's about what you're not showing. The man you're becoming doesn't need her respect to feel complete. He already is complete. And that completeness, that wholeness, that quiet dignity, that's what true respect looks like.